Welcome to Diary of a Professional Tennis Coach with Mark Gellard and Candy Reid. Well, hello and welcome everyone to Diary of a Professional Tennis Coach. No Mark Gellard, unfortunately, just me, Candy Reid, and I am delighted to say, well, this man has been a bit of a hero of mine for a long, long time. His name is Claudio Pistolesi. He is from beautiful Rome, Italy, my favorite city in the entire wide world. Now living in Florida. Claudio, a former ATP Tour player, a former coach on both the ATP and the WTA. You are a commentator, speaker, communicator. You are a bit of a legend. So welcome very much to the podcast. We're delighted to have you alongside.
Thank you, Candy. Thank you so much. I hope you deserve all this great presentation.
No, I think it's pretty fair. You were a very fine tennis player, weren't you? From Rome, Italy, like I said. Italy now having a bit of a resurgence. I think we're all trying to chase what Italy are doing. But in your day, Italian tennis was very strong as well.
Yeah, Italy was a superpower in the 70s when I was a kid. That's why I started to play tennis. Adriano Panatta was our leader. He won the French Open. Was the last one before Yannick Sinner to win a major. 1976, we won 4 times in a row in the Davis Cup final, one winning. And then I took the heritage of this great La Squadra, they call La Squadra the team, so it was really tough in our shoulder to have this burden to come back after Adriano Panatta, Barazzuti, Bertolucci. But I think we hold well. We give a good dignity for many years. And also, after my playing career, I started to have the vocation to be a coach. And then, through the years, nowadays, again, Italy, I think, is one of, if not the country leader in tennis, in the men's tennis.
Oh, it's the leader. And it's almost getting there in women's tennis, isn't it? With Jasmine Paolini, Sara Errani winning pretty much every doubles competition there is out there. We've got a lot to talk about. So let's, again, focus on your career first. Your biggest win, you got to the third round of Roland Garros. What is the biggest memory, I suppose, that you have from your time playing tennis?
I played 11 years, and don't forget the junior career. I'm very proud of my junior career. I was number one. World champion 1985, and probably the best photo all my life I got when I got the trophy of junior world champion from Rod Laver from his hands. There's a big poster of this in my house, and the honor to have the trophy directly from Mr. Rod Laver is forever in my heart. I won the Orange Bowl. That time was really a world championship in junior. That's how I started. Then I won ATP event at 19 years old, and for 34 years I was the youngest Italian ever won ATP event. And Mr. Sinner beat me even this record for 2 months. And I told him, "Say, well, all the records you beat, you still need to beat even my little one." And he was laughing about that. And then yes, I was in Davis Cup. I'm proud to be Davis Cup with my Maglia Azzurra, Italian team for 6 years, and. Yeah, my biggest win, I beat Mats Wilander 1988 when he became number one in the world at the end of the year in Monte Carlo, and several top 10 like Sergi Bruguera, Aaron Kriegstein, Kent Carlson. So I was in one match, when I was in the highlights, I was getting very motivated, but I was not consistent. So my best ranking was 71, even though I have a lot of wins with the top 10 and top 20. So that was roller coaster on my career but whatever, good or bad, I'm very proud of what I did.
That's interesting that you say you weren't consistent, and I played to a much lower level than you, world ranking in both singles and doubles, but nowhere near the top 100. And I was also very inconsistent. Some days I could play lights out, other days I was absolutely terrible. Why do you think you were like that?
I think I was celebrating too early, I mean, you have to postpone the celebration. When you win something, you have to right away. I got this lesson from Thomas Muster. I have my two great friends are born in 1967 like me. One, his name is Boris Becker, another one is Thomas Muster. So wow. And they both get the number one. I'm the only one that gets not even.
You were only 70 places away, though. At least it was,
Yeah, but I even beat Thomas. Boris, I played 5 times and I was never able to beat. And I wrote a book about all these memories. There's a lot of stories about all this. Soon it will be out in English. And and Thomas told me, give me a lesson once, because I think until even after junior, 1920, we were about the same level. and then he took off, and then he had the accident, you remember, and then he came back stronger than ever. And once he won the Monte Carlo tournament in 5 sets against Boris, and the next week was Munich tournament. Let me tell you the story. I was in the ATP office in Munich, ATP office. I got the tour manager got a call from Thomas. I imagine, it was Sunday nights. I thought he want to play Tuesday start, and then I say, no, I want to be there 11 o'clock first match on Monday. And then the guy was surprised. He said, okay, if you want against Perez Roldan, it was a tough match, And then he came back and he won also. I think he won the tournament in Munich as well. And then I asked him, I said, Thomas, how the hell you do that? You with 5 sets in the final, you took a private jet to hurry up to go. You have the chance to have 1 day between to rest, and you didn't. So why? He told me, because I don't want to waste time celebrating. I have time to celebrate it later. I have to right away think another tournament. And that's why he was number 1, and I was 71, I think, because the celebration has to be very short or none. So you have to right away to the next. So when I won the tournament in Bari, yes, I was going around and do the celebration tour. That is a sign of weakness, So you need to be strong and to say, okay, forget it. You already forget it. You go to the next. That's why I think it was a good lesson.
I hope Carlos Alcaraz is listening, because we believe that he's been partying in Ibiza again, don't we? Which he likes to do. And apparently he got told this time not to do it, but went anyway. So we'll find out what his form, because at the time of recording, we haven't seen Alcaraz since he won that unbelievable final against your man, Yannick Sinner, 5 hours and 30 minutes plus. What did you think of that final, Claudio? I'm sure you watched some of it.
I watched from the first to last point. I'm very close to Sinner team. All members of Sinner, my friends. One of the most sick I'm proud of my life is I start Marco Panicchi, is the fitness coach. He started with me. He was policeman in the year 99, 2000. I convinced him to leave the job, and for 15 years we worked together with a number of players. They all get the best ranking. Anna Smashnova, Simone Bolelli, Davide Sanguinetti, Mara Sant'Angelo. So he learned so much. He was always humble enough to be the best in what he's doing, fitness coach, because some fitness coach, they start to feel that they can be tennis coach. He never did this step, but he always study, and then he built his name, and I'm so proud of him. One of my best friends, and now end up to be first with Djokovic. He was 6 years with Djokovic. He was I lost the count of number of tournaments and majors he won with Djokovic, and then he ended up to be the coach, the fitness coach of Yannick Sinner. Marco is very empathic. Everybody loves to have Marco in the team, because it's not only about how professional he is, but also what a great person he is. He makes the atmosphere always the best level. So I'm very close to Sinner, and when he plays, I feel a little bit I'm there too. And the suffering of this match of Paris was indescribable, and also with these 3 match points, the guilty feeling to not making is terrible. But again, Sinner, even though he losing, he made another lesson to all world. He was still 6-5, 15-30 in the 5th after not making 3 match points. So it was very close again, and it went the way it went. But I think the tennis one is one of the most memorable match in the history of our game. Everybody said that, and these two young men, they're another level, and they really give the best promotional commercial for our beautiful sport for the young.
They absolutely do, don't they? I've been lucky enough to meet both of them a couple of times with my work on the ATP tour, and what comes across is how humble they are. But what about the level of tennis? How has it changed? I mean, obviously things have got faster. We've got different technology and rackets. But are you surprised that the level of tennis has got this fast, this good, this powerful so quickly?
Well, I saw other sports. I saw the final of World Cup football, Italy against Germany in 1982. Seems everybody's walking. Seems that the match didn't even start. They're so slow, So I think if they said this happened in football, it happened probably also in tennis. When I go to my parents, when I see my parents' house, I see my mother doesn't throw away anything. I still have the rackets I was playing with. Until 16 years old, I played with the wooden racket. Then I played with the first, first tentative of a fiber racket, and I want to cry, compared to the racket we have now. There are so how I could play years with this heavy 400 grams tools that are. I want to cry only see them. But then now I understand that even now I think I 57 years old. My forehand, my serve are faster compared when I was 25 years old because of the rack and the strings, the balls. Don't forget the balls also. The balls was not even in the can.
The
It was
compressed, the pressurized pack.
it was not pressurized, so they were really
Yeah.
dead. So I think it's normal. It's dynamic sport, and even compared to the now I say something very strong. Even compared to the Fab Four, Sinner and Alcaraz seems to me that they have they have one less needed, one step less compared to them, so they're faster. They're even a little bit faster. I take responsibility what I say, but there's many, not only me. I think many people had the impression that even compared to Nadal, Federer, Djokovic, and Murray, this game is developing and is going to the next level with these two.
Yeah, it's just incredible. Yannick Sinner, I mean, what a revelation. I remember seeing a little bit of footage, I think when he was 13. And he looked to me, he had this quite sort of curly hair. He looked very gangly. He didn't look particularly great. I remember Jack Draper of Great Britain telling a story that he played doubles against Sinner. And they actually thought that Sinner was weak. So they were going at Sinner as opposed to his doubles partner. They judged that Sinner was the weak link. So why do you think he has come up so fast and now the undisputed world number one, even though of course he lost Roland Garros, but numbers wise, I mean, he's far away.
Yes, because each one has his own timing. You have a timing. He came up with later. He was a skier. His incredible story also is a great example for everyone looking at the teaching, the coach school, the federations. You don't go by the age. Very often until 10 o'clock you do that, until 12 o'clock, 10 years old you do that, 12 years old you do that. Each one is on different timing of growing. So he was a skier until 13 years old. He didn't even decide which sport to do. Imagine, he was not even a tennis player. And then look what happened after. I think the people from ski was very mad because they think they take away a champion from the ski sport. Luckily for us,
yeah, exactly.
He chose tennis. He has chosen tennis versus ski. So look how what's happened. The timing is that he never played the junior. Versus Musetti play all the juniors, so there are different ways, and these kids are growing. Somebody forget that this kid, the body, the legs are longer, the arms are longer, they're taller, so the center of the balance change. I think too early they start to do the prediction, they start to do contracts. We have a best example in Italy with two players born in 1996. One, his name is Gianluigi Quincy, that in that time when he was 18, 17, he won Wimbledon Junior easy. I remember First Page magazine, the new Nadal, Italian Nadal. He was a lefty. Apparently, was already done, but it was not. And the same time, another player, another boy at that time, Matteo Berrettini, 1996. Nobody knew he exists. He was playing the local tournaments, prize money tournaments. And look what's happened then. Berrettini went to the final in Wimbledon, and Quincy quit 24. Yeah. He's a very nice guy, Quincy, but he was the burden he had on these expectations. I think there is a difference. I'm a big fan of break down the meaning of the words between ambition and expectations. Okay. So you want to be ambition, but you don't want to bring expectations, because expectations, they poison the parents, they poison the young players. Ambition is internal stuff, expectation that everybody you announce they'll give you the next big thing, and then you have to do it, So that's another good lesson we had in Italy, that you have to be calm. And Sonego was, nobody knew it. He was not even top 10 of if he's about his age. And then he became top 30, he won the Davis Cup, etc. There are so many examples. I think we just need to observe the reality. And in Italy, there are so many examples to testify that maybe the things can be seen in a different point of view versus what was done until a short time ago.
That's brilliant. I'm going to remember that. Be ambitious, but don't have expectations. I think that is a way that we all should perhaps live to, really. Go back to Marco Panici. You said you worked with him for 15 years, and he's now working with Sinner, was working with Novak. He's the tall, grey-haired gentleman. He looks very wizened. I've spoken to Marco just a little bit, but very educated guy. How did you work with him for so long?
Well, we we are both from Rome. We are huge Roma football team fans. So there are many things put us together. We have so much fun together. So we're always laughing. We are both very. We believe that you have to be happy. You know, we don't like words like suffering, sacrifice. We like more words like joy and happiness. So doesn't mean that you're not serious. You're not working hard. You know. So
Yeah.
we try. We have a lot of things in common. And I think he was just asking me. He's very humble. Tennis. He asked me, "How can I help you as a fitness coach?" I realized in very early that when I stopped my playing career, if I want to be a good coach, I need a top level fitness coach on my side every day, and I have to work with him. You're gonna be too separate, So that's what I got it. I think the intuition was very good. He started to just ask me, "How do you do that?" We talk about the steps. When I was coaching Djokovic, Djokovic speaks perfect Italian. I see Marco talking to him about the steps, and I was proud that that's what I teach him. So there are so many things we built together, and we never lost. We had Anna Smashnova, by the way, is my ex-wife. She went from 150 to 13 in the world. I think she was unbelievable.
What a
Journey.
great player she was.
Yeah, she was the fastest player ever. I think she was short, but she was so fast. And Mara Sant'Angelo, she was really from 500 in the world. She ended up to win the French Open doubles, and she won the Fed Cup top 70. We had Davide Sanguinetti, 33 years old, the best ranking. He won Milan, he beat Federer. Simone Bolelli for 240, went 36 in the world. So now I'm summarizing, but all these 15 years, the results helps. So we never lost. We was like only winning whatever we touch, we win. Takao Suzuki was the best player in Japan for so many years. He opened the door of Japan very well. Was so me and Marco together was like working really well. And then he started to work with Daniela Antukova. Later on, I also coached Daniela, another champion. And then he started to go Francesca Schiavone. At that point, he didn't need me anymore. I started to work with Robin Soderling, that he already had his own fitness coach. But we always very united. We talk every second day. We talk. I sent a message to him after Australian Open winning Sinner. He answered after no more than 2 minutes that the match point. So it was a great compliment to have this direct contact with him. And but not only him, we have Simone Vagnossi. I saw him a long time ago when he started coaching. I always understand he was a great coach. When we checked Chinato, Chinato made the semi-final in French Open, and Vagnossi was working with him, improved his backhand incredibly. So we go back to 2018 with Vagnossi, great work. Now we're in 2025. Darren Cahill, I played against him in India Wells. I think I lost to him 7-6 in the third. He was a player. Darren, we always talk, when we meet Yannick, and we was talking to him about our match. And Darren was so nice to me. Remember this match and my forehand. I was known for my forehand. So I feel so close to all of this great team. Alex Vitor is a former Italian player and his manager. So it's amazing human being, an amazing group of human beings. You see, he's seen how proud he is when he talk about his team. He always mentions his team. That's why, because they are all one. Ulysses Badio, the physiotherapist, he was taking care of my poor back. I had 2 surgery on my back. Ulysses fixed it multiple times. So they're all a great human being. This team is fantastic. Nowadays, you need the team. Yannick doesn't stop to say that. He said, without the team, you don't do anywhere.
Yeah, it takes a village, doesn't it? Nobody can do it on their own. And you, Claudio, I just put up a graphic. You've worked with Daniela Hanchikova, as I said, and Robin Soderling and all the players that you mentioned before. So you flip-flopped a little bit between the WTA and ATP tour. Why did you start coaching, and who was your very, very first player?
My first player was Takao Suzuki.
Okay.
It was my intuition. I was still playing, actually. My last year of playing, I was still beating him. And the most important job I did or coaching was Monica Seles. Monica, after the stabbing, called me and asked me if I want to be her practice partner, and I say yes. So I was traveling with her on the majors, but the rest of the year I had this young Japanese boy that he was great at the net, but he was very light and not strong physically. And I saw that time the Japanese girls are so good, Kimiko Date, Savamatsu, they're like 10 top 10. I said, why not the men? The only one was Matsuoka, but it's a bit an exception because he's 2 meters tall for Japanese. It's like one of us is 3 meters tall. And and then I said, okay, why not to go there? So in 1996, no internet, no smartphone. Me as Rome, Italy, I decide to go to live in Japan. I take the courage to do that, explore. I was curious about this country, and I was sure something good could happen to put a different culture together. I teach Takao English language. He didn't speak English, so now, funny enough, he speaks English with Italian accent, and everybody's laughing when it's like this. And then, as little by little, and up Takao to play Roger Federer in Australian Open second round. This match you see on YouTube is one of the best second round ever in Australian Open. He had 7-6 in the third against Roger in Tokyo. So he beat Enquist, he beat Michael Chang, he beat Si Japan. He did fantastic career, and the little boy called Kei Nishigori was coming to our clinics. So we opened the door to Asia, and I don't know if I have time, but I have incredible stories. The meeting of these two opposite culture. Yeah, I can tell you the story that touched my heart forever. Is first tournament I go with Takao. First tournament in my life I go as a coach, because it was the Japanese championship, and you cannot play if you're not Japanese. So I couldn't play, and I coached Takao. Was not even seeded, 18 years old. He win the first round. He beat seed number 2. So long story short, he got to semi-final. He win 7-6 in the fifth, because semi-final final was best of 5. He can tap to be in the final. In the final. Who is looking in the final? The Emperor of Japan, Mr. Aki Ito. At that time, he was the son of Hirohito. Hirohito is a famous figure for World War II. And the Emperor of Japan came to see. It was metal detector, full stadium in Ariake Stadium, where they played the Japan Open and the Olympic Games they played. So when I accept to stop playing myself, with a lot of pain, and start to coach Takao Suzuki, I said, Takao, look. If you want me to coach you, you ask me, I do, but promise me that you are ready to be an international player, because it's very easy for you to be in Japan. You got the wild cards, you play Davis Cup, you play the league, you play the Japan championships. I'm not interested in that. I want to see if Japanese can be as good as the South American, European, North American, Australia, etc. Are you ready to travel to play on clay? You in Japan, you are at that time especially. You are an island. You are only speaking Japanese. You are only having Japanese food, Japanese medicine. You have to be open to eat the pasta, burger, play on clay. They play 9 o'clock in the morning, first round quality when nobody care about you. Are you ready to this? And you look at me and say yes. And we shake the hand, and they're like samurai. When you shake the hand, it's fine. You can count on that. Yeah. So okay, then we start. So he ended up to win. He won. He was Japanese champion at 18 years old. And this full stadium, the Emperor was the opposite side of me. And he went into the podium, there's like Olympic, number 3rd, 2nd, and 1st. And he got the microphone. We was instructed that by the rules, by the Emperor is like a tenno. It's like between God, is almost divinity, with God and the people is Nippon, the rising sun. So it's like a divinity there. And when he come in, everybody stands, and only when he sits, everybody can sit. When he stand up, everybody can stand up, and never ever show your back to the Emperor. There are these rules. So Takao, what he did, he was so anxious to thank me that he got the microphone. I was the opposite side. He turned, so he showed it back to the Emperor. Everybody went, oh, and I was like this. Now I said, turn. I want to thank my coach Claudio that you helped me. Say, okay, thank you. But the father was petrified. I was like this, and so it was, really embarrassing moment. Then he turned back and he kept talking. Somebody was translating for me, and he said, in front of his Emperor, in television, in front of 10,000 people at 18 years old, we are only speaking Japanese. We are isolated. We are an island. He repeat all I said to him in private. He's in front of the Emperor. I said, oh my God, we're going to be arrested or something.
They're not going to allow me out of the country.
Yeah, he said, now I want to go and compete with European, with South America. The Emperor looking like this. The Empress was next to him. And I read somewhere the Empress were more open-minded. She will start to make more. So, that always women at the bosses. So I was counting that she was influenced silent. So at the end of the speech, the guy was very proud. He made the speech in front of his emperor. He was teaching the 10, his emperor how to run Japan. So it was so silence. Imagine Candy, 5-6 seconds silence. The emperor stand up and start clapping. In this moment,
Wow.
everybody stand up and clapping. I was like, oh, thanks God. The emperor approved, And the Tagawa was very satisfied. He said, yeah, fine, I got it. He got it. So, so this is the incredible story of my life. And I learned that the most different culture, nothing more far, the Italian Roman culture with the Japanese from Sapporo culture, when they meet, the tendency is that the best of each culture come out. I took the best teaching from Tagao and culture, and vice versa from me, from Italian culture. And this is the best medicine, Candy, against the racism, because if you don't know the foreigner, you just have to know. Nobody's better or worse. You just have to know and respect, and then only good things can happen. So this story is in my book, for example, one of the 23 stories in my book, and it's not about winning major or something like that, but I think humanly, I think he has a huge meaning, at least for me, my experience.
Well, it would probably help us save a lot of people's lives and stop a lot of wars if we just understood that we're all very, very similar, just have different cultures. But that is a great story. And just briefly, your book, what is it going to be called in English?
It's going to be Once Upon My Time, Once Upon the Time, My Tennis. My Tennis.
Okay.
23 stories, me as a junior, me as a player, when I beat Vilas in Roland Garros, when I play Connors, and when I beat Villander, when I play Boris Becker, all these superstars, I had the chance to play against them. So it was described as an opponent. With Villander, I even won, and Vilas even won, and then me as a coach, when I was coaching against Roger Federer, and then when I was coaching Monica Seles, so many things, also parallel things happen in my life. Through Monica, I had the chance to meet Lady Diana Spencer. When in July in Harbour Club in Chelsea in London, when the royal family goes to play tennis, and 1 month before she died, and I had the chance to meet her. And then Whitney Houston, she was singing. Monica played on 1997. August 25th. I know because it's my birthday. It was my 30th birthday, and Whitney Houston sang in the open ceremony. A moment in time, beautiful song. And at that time, my friends, they couldn't really check. They don't have this information they have now. And I tell my friends that Whitney Houston was singing for me for my birthday. It was not true, But it was,
absolutely.
I was in front of her, singing for this unbelievable event. So the very, very first match on Arthur Ashe Stadium was on my birthday, 30th birthday. Monica played, So Monica is for me the best ever. I mean, this woman is incredible example of courage, of elegance, of strength, of class. For me, sorry Serena, sorry Navratilova, sorry Evergraph, but imagine what she did after the stabbing, come back and win a major. She won in 1996, and I was there. When she won Australian Open '96. Every time I think it's goosebump, and I think he's underestimated the magnitude of this winning after the stabbing. Somebody put a knife in your back, you come back and win a major. I think nobody ever did something that difficult in tennis, men included.
So let's talk about Monica quickly. So you started as her practice partner.
Yeah.
And then you became her full-time coach and worked with her after the stabbing. I actually remember that stabbing because I was playing at the time. I remember my mum coming up to my bedroom and saying that had happened. And I was absolutely shocked. It was one of those moments, a little bit like Diana dying. I remember exactly where I was at that moment because Monica Seles was a huge hero. I had met her at the Chiswick Racket Club, which was the club I played at. And I remember Monica was training for Wimbledon. It was obviously raining and she was playing indoors. And I was just so happy because I think I was about an inch or two taller than her. So I was telling everybody, but she was just the most amazing player. So it would be great if you could just remind us of what she did so well, what matches you were there for, and also, yes, how she got over that stabbing, that horrible moment on court, how she ever walked back on court is unbelievable to me.
Yeah, I think she showed so much courage. She was scared. I had the photo of the guy here, and I was in contact with. I felt like Tom Cruise. I was in contact with the security people. Even though it was not my job, but protect her. I was ready to jump on everything in case. First time, the player, they don't sit with the shoulder back to the public, but they sit, like this. And
they turned all the chairs around, didn't they? Because
yeah,
I played junior Wimbledon that year, and all the chairs were turned around to the side.
And now you see the security is always somebody behind the players, and before was not. Before this attack. And she was focused on her return. I played so many serve. The return, she take the lead of the. She had the speed of high hand that was double faster than anyone else, I think, naturally.
Wow.
And she played. She was very preparing and playing Steffi Graf. Many finals with Steffi Graf. And but she played us. For example, I remember a match. Chanda Rubin. She saved match point with incredible passing shot on match point against Chanda in semi-final, and then she won easy the final against Huber. Huber. I remember that Australian Open very well for this match point. How cool she was, stay cool to play this passing shot on match point against her. I remember she won Sydney before she beat Lindsay Davenport again, saving match point. Was unbelievable strong on the most important points, And then I remember a semi-final in French Open against Martina Hingis. Martina was taking time away from her, and there was this discussion about the mom was coaching, talking to every point to Martina in her original language. I think it was Slovak, and this was really I didn't like. And anyway, that's. It went the way it went, and but winning this Australian Open stays forever.
That's incredible. And you said about the hand-eye coordination was good. She, as you also stated, very, very mentally tough. Did that come from her upbringing? Was that her father? I remember he was a cartoonist, wasn't he? That his death affected her very much, but she just seemed unbelievably mentally strong.
Yes. The father was a great man. Carol was my friend. He trusts me so much. He was also very good on physical trainer, so he was doing something for Monica, the conditioning. And I never allow myself to call myself coach, full head coach of Monica. I started at the practice partner, and then what's happened is the father couldn't travel anymore because he got a cancer, probably from the stress and he couldn't travel. Monica told me, Claudio, I'm not going to look for another coach. I stay with you. Help me. I was scouting. I was doing things that normally the coach does. I remember I was scouting Anke Huber before the final Australian Open. And I was playing with her every day. She asked me about how do you think this court is fast, it's not fast. So she trusted me a lot, So I felt like a coach, but I was 29 years old. I never coached anyone. I started something similar coach with the number one in the world. Imagine the disgusting luck I have. And I really disgusting luck. I learned much more, whatever you want to call me. I learned from her much more than me from like she did for me. She was an unbelievable example. The work ethic, play in the morning. We play every morning very early, 6 a.m, because there is no massive silence. We have a court for ourselves. At some point, the security give the key to me. They trust me to open the gate because they are tired to wake up so early for us. So I was literally open the side open with the key because we were the first one to get there. And so that's what lucky. I was lucky. The life gave me. My life is tennis, and the luck to be with such incredible athlete, and even more incredible person like Monica for 2 and more years, and she's fantastic. I mean, there's no words. For me, it's the best ever. Sorry to say, but I really feel. Yeah.
How many more majors do you think she would have won had it not been for the stabbing? Do you think she'd be the winningest player of all time, maybe by now?
I mean, we don't have the proof, but I think it's very, very likely she would 20 and more. She could win 20 and more, even up to 30 at that point, because she was winning everyone literally easy.
Yeah. So, and no one played like her, did they? The double hands off both sides. Her footwork was immense. I don't think we've ever. My dog is wanting to get into the conversation. We've never seen a player that has played just like that. She was totally unique.
Yeah, she take the lead immediately with return. She had lefty serve and first ball after serve. We did tons and tons of training on the first three balls. Very rarely the shot with her was going in the number 3 or 4 shots. So you understand that. She never really adapted. She need a little bit too much time because her feet are not that fast for grass, So she even though she played the final Wimbledon, but she never won Wimbledon. When I was with her, she lost to Testudo with match point for her this time, but she was never that confident. And but I mean, all the rest she was the queen of tennis.
Yeah, she was an Australian Open champion 4 times. She won Roland Garros 3, US Open 2, and like you said, Wimbledon finalist in 1992. Also won bronze at the 2000 Olympic Games. So after Monica Seles, then what happens to your coaching career? And at this point, having been an ATP Tour player and then being on tour, were you not sick of the traveling? Were you okay at home? Did you get time, or what was your process?
And when I look back, I really don't know how I did that, because if you include the junior careers, 4 years traveling, then 11 as a player, and then another 20 and more as a coach, you do the math. It's like 20, 35 years almost traveling. But I was always very, very competitive. And since I stopped playing myself, I always felt that my competition need to compete was go through my players.
Yeah.
So I was really leaving the matches like we were 2 against 1. And that's what's drive me for so many. I didn't even realize that I spent 35 years. I don't have my own kids. I married with Anna, but was great success in tennis, but it was 2 years only. Then we divorced, but we are still very good friends. We had the not great marriage, but the divorce was very good. So no stress, no kids, no just a piece of paper. But tennis I was that priority. And traveling, I'm an expert, a passionate of history. So everywhere I go, I try to visit the monuments. I try to learn history I learned 6 languages. I think I got easy with the languages. So, and also I was living in the country. I would not only do it for tournaments. I was living in the country where my player was. I believe in 7 years in Japan. I coach another player I'm very proud of. I coach is a fantastic person. Is Michael Berrer from Germany. Before
brilliant player.
Yeah, and I'm very proud of what we did from 150 to 40 in the world, and it's very special match. And then I finished with him. He was not happy. I started with Soderling, and obviously the first round in Brisbane was better against Soderling. And
always the way.
And he wanted to show me wrong, want to prove me wrong, and he played unbelievable, the best match I ever seen Michael playing, and Robbie won, but very barely, really barely. Robbie was number 4 in the world. So it was every newspaper, the match of the hate, the press, how they BS. But then even my life gave me very intense situations every time.
That's incredible. Of course, Robin Soderling, a finalist at Roland Garros, wasn't he, to Roger Federer? He beat the likes of Rafa in the round of 16 there, Davydenko in the quarterfinals, Gonzalez of Chile in the semis before losing to Fed in 3. He was some player, wasn't he? But always, and I never met Robin, he was always quite temperamental. Is that fair to say about him?
Yeah, the reputation he has is that he was not friendly, but this only because not many they know him well, and I know him well. I tell you, he's a fantastic human being. He's very intelligent. He has good heart. He was only very, very intense with himself. So everything he saw was always with himself. And I think I find the key. He won Brisbane, beat Roddick in the final. Then he got round of 16. He lost to Dolgopolov in Australian Open, which anyway is the best results he ever did in Australia. And he won Rotterdam with me on beating Songa in the final, and he won Marseille, beat Cilic in the final. So it was a fantastic journey for almost a year with him. Then we disagree about something, and unfortunately our way separate, and then he keep going, kill himself physically too much. I was not. That's what we don't agree. I think I was more for a balance between mental, physical, and technique. He was very much focused on the physical part. and then he got sick. He got mononucleosis, and then he could never come back. It's a very sad story. And he publicly said that he should have listened to me. He publicly said I was the best coach I ever had. And also very surprising, he chose me, because it was number 5. Before that, I had Celis, but 30 years before, not 20, no, but 20 years before, and she was a woman. And everybody's asking why he choose Pistolesi. Why? He was the first non-Swedish coach he ever had. And I was afraid to ask, So I just asked him that after we won. At some point, he had 22 wins and 1 loss. So after that, I allowed myself to say, why you choose me? I asked him. Do you want to know the answer?
I'd love to know.
Yeah, this is another story of my book that's called Sliding Doors. This is, was a movie from Gwyneth Paltrow in 1999.
Yes.
The underground, the door.
Why things
there are 2
happen.
stories. Yeah, yes.
Yeah.
This is exactly the sliding door in life, because listen what's happened. I was with Better in 2009 in Helsinki Challenger, first round against Continent. Unbelievable match, home crowd, and Helsinki Continent was very good player. Match point for Better, serve and volley. Continent put the volley out. I promise you this match out. So Better go, yes, he win. Go to shake the hand. While he going to shake the hand, the umpire said, correction, the ball is good. So Better went nuts. No. Obviously, he lost after that. And it was a Monday, Monday. And the next tournament was in Salzburg, another challenger. In between was ATP finals in London, 02. It was the first year. And the ATP invited me to go. So for me, ATP finals always be the upgrading course, So the top 8 cannot be wrong. So I go there, I look very carefully from close and try to get the idea for the next year, because I know the game is developing, and that's where you get the ideas,
Yeah.
So I went to London, and I saw in the hotel, the first person I see is Magnus Norman and Robin Soderling. I didn't know well Robin, even my player played against him. Bolelli beat him in Monte Carlo, Sanguinetti they beat him very often. And Magnus, my friend, said, Claudio, what do you do here? You don't have a player. I said, no, but I want to use these days because I've spared, instead of go to Rome doing nothing, I come here and I study, for next year. And Robin listened to that, And then he told me, said, you remember when you went to London and you said that to Magnus, and I heard that. So yes, I said that it's incredible that the coach at the end of the year is instead of going home and finally has some time for himself, he still go to tennis, and try to learn from tennis. So I was very impressed, and I need somebody loves in tennis, and that was the proof, even 1 year before, that you love tennis. That's why I choose you. Then I think back, this volley was out. So if the call is good, I was not going to London because the second round would be in Wednesday in Helsinki, and it was too short of a time to go to London. So I have to thank this blind umpire that he made, because otherwise, how it's sliding door, for this bad call, this 2 centimeter out, my life changed. Now I can say I was coaching top 5 in the world. It became number 4 with me, best ranking. And he passed Mara, unbelievable
That's
story.
Incredible.
I'm very proud of that, but only because this guy did the wrong call, and I was able to go. So I was when I thought about that, I was shaking.
Yeah.
So it's really sliding doors in life. The best things happen, you don't plan it. Everybody want to plan. The best things happen without planning.
You're right. You're so right.
This much.
It's karma, though, isn't it? You did something right to earn that opportunity.
Yeah, and tennis is not an exception. You have to just be there, do your best, and then things happen. Even not planning, you don't know.
Incredible. And I was just looking at Robin Soderling's numbers, how many matches he played. 2009, when he got to the final of Roland Garros, 57 wins, 21 defeats. 2010, he played almost as much. And then 2011, his final year on tour, 50 matches. So he was a man that really loved to play. And you're right. I mean, he probably regrets that now. And he said it out loud that you were right and he was wrong. But you have to try and convince the player, don't you? And if you can't, then something else has to happen. So after finishing up with Robin from Sweden, what happened next?
Next, Marco Banighi asked me, say, Claudio, Daniela Antukova is looking for a coach. And I mentioned your name, and are you available? And I was available. And then I went back to WTA. Daniela at that point dropped a little bit, 34 in the world. But then I decided to go, and first tournament Brisbane again. The previous year, I as a coach, I won tournament with Soderling, and she got to the final, and she almost made the winning again. And then she did a really great year, and I have to thank Daniela forever because she allowed me to be in the team of Slovakia in the Olympic Games in
Oh
2012
yes.
on London in Wimbledon. I mean, when we're gonna have Wimbledon Olympic Games the next time in 1,000 years, I think. So I was there all the time. They see Wimbledon, all the colors. It was pretty funny when I called for the practice school. Hello, I'm Claudio Pistolesi, Slovakia. And everybody was laughing. But it doesn't matter. I was there in the team, and she beat Lina. Lina was number 4 in the world. And she lost to Wozniacki in the center court of Wimbledon. So again, I was able to coach in the center court of Wimbledon. And so I thank her forever, but she did pretty good. She came back top 15, and then a US Open. I was a bit burnout, and I had to ask from Kerber to coach her, and I say no. I think it was probably a mistake, but I was really burnout, and then I decided to think of slow down my life and to have a place. I met Christina, my current wife, and in Pontevedra, and that's where I start to think of stop this roller coaster of traveling all over the world for 35 years. So now, I started my company. It's called Claudio Pistolesi Enterprise. I discovered the world of college tennis, university, and then in 2018 I had offered the position of director of JTCC Florida. We are in a wonderful high school called Bowles School in Jacksonville, very very prestigious, and they have headquarters. So we have partnership with them, and I'm constantly in contact with the College Park. Where Francis Tiafoe grew up, and Vesa Ponca is the president. Ray Bento is a legend of management in the world. He used to be with ProServe, and I learned so much about other stuff. So I live tennis high level in many different hats. I was a junior, I was a player, I was a ATP in the ATP management. I was a coach and now a director of a school. So I love that.
Incredible.
So yeah, I love.
So let's talk a little bit more about the JTCC, because I've looked into this a lot as a commentator as part of my duties. Like you said, Francis Tiafoe played there. Dennis Kudla, who's actually coaching as we speak. He's been working with Riley Opelka recently.
Yeah.
And Opelka looks back to full fitness, which is good. Also, Robin Montgomery, I believe, Haley Baptiste. I mean, it's just player after player from the United States has come out of the JTC in Maryland. And they've opened up another school in Jacksonville, which is where you are and you've been running. So how did they know to ask you, and why did you say yes?
Well, there's another figure that is very important for me. Is another legend. His name is Brian Gottfried, and is a former top 3 in the world, number 1 in doubles, Wimbledon winner. And he was my coach, believe it or not, in 1992. And I was already in Pontevedra because ATP has a tennis center, and top 100 player could go and practice. And after so many years, Brian was before me was the director of both of JTCC, and he's my best man on my wedding, Brian. And then he said, Claudio, I'm leaving. I'm semi-retiring, and I'm moving to Sarasota. What about you take my place? And I didn't expect that. And they introduced me to Ray Bent, to Vesa Ponca in Maryland. We went together and we talk, and that's how I start in October 2018. So I'm my 8 years now here. And that's why they got me through Brian. Brian is really an inspiration for me, and he's a mentor, and is one of the most beloved person. Funny enough, the movie Borg McEnroe. There is the movie.
Yes.
And Brian is in the movie, an actor playing Brian, and I saw the movie with Brian. He's in the movie, so so he was not happy with the actor because there's nothing to do with me. It's different actor, but it doesn't matter. I would love one day to be in a movie and see myself, an actor making me in the movie. It was pretty funny.
Well, they did one on the Williams sisters, of course, and an actor played Rick Macy, and I remember Reggie Sanchez in that story was not very happy with the way that she was portrayed. So it's not easy to get it right, but I'm sure whoever takes that movie of you, Claudio, will get it just right. Now, the JTC in Maryland, from what I remember reading about it, it was very much for underserved children who wanted to play tennis, who were talented. There were a lot of scholarships handed out, and then They'd make the money back through sponsors, and it was a big community thing where all the players had to also give back. They had to do community service. They had to maybe clean and do things around the house and just make sure everything was right. So there was a lot of discipline involved. It wasn't just tennis. Is that the same way you are?
Yeah, I really immediately say yes, because it reflects a lot my view. Education is very important. Is mainly, we have Tiafo is, of course, not many can go to top 10, but the very successful, when you say champions, JT stays for Junior Tennis Champion Center. Champion doesn't stay for champion playing Wimbledon, US Open, etc. It's to be champion as a person.
Yes.
So for me, it's very successful to see hundreds of kids go through the tennis, get a scholarship, get opportunity. This you can do only in US. Graduate and find a job, become good doctors, good engineering, good journalists. Yeah. And this is a great success. They are champion of life, So that's what I like about that, to help the people. We are in this world for a reason, and I want to wake up with this mission. I like to call it mission, to help the others. I think the world needs to be, what is the opposite of selfish? To be generous, to be think of the others. Selfishness is the worst poison we have, and it is about underprivileged people. Is about also to have results, of course, to try to go to the best juniors. Here in Pontevedra we have amazing level of juniors, and some pros start to come with us, train with us, and we are more and more interactive with the college park. But the main spirit, mission is to help the others. So that's why from day one, I love to see. Also, we don't like the word academy. You see, we don't call it ourselves academy. We call tennis center, because it's the word has a meaning.
Tennis center.
And this is about to have growing the people first, person first, athletes, and then tennis players.
Love that. I had the great opportunity to go to the University of Tennessee in Knoxville on a tennis scholarship. And those 4 years completely changed my life. Absolutely incredible experience. And you have a lot of success, I'm sure, getting good tennis players into US colleges.
Yes, one question I make to my students is, give me a definition of success. And then they start thinking. You have the most different answers. And someone told me, when you were able to buy a Rolex or a Porsche. So then it's okay. We are in trouble here, and
yeah.
So I think it's very important to find what success means. So success is to be strong enough to help the others. That's my definition, and to be helping each other, and to be strong and invest and keep growing. And especially teachers, they have the duty never stop to be a student. You never stop to be a student. You have to keep studying all your life.
Love that.
This is another things I learned with experience. So I keep investing. I love to be coach education. I'm back in Italy now. I went to Italian Open, and I am one of the teacher for coach education school. Istituto Roberto Lombardi is named after Roberto Lombardi, was one of my coaches. Yeah. So this also touched my heart. He passed away with ALS, was terrible death 15 years ago. And now the institute is called Roberto Lombardi, and I'm teaching the Tecnico Nazionale. Tecnico Nazionale is the highest recognition, with Michelangelo Dell'Edera. Is doing great job in Italy. You can see the results. And then I'm very, very proud and happy to be part again, even part-time, because I live in America, but I go in Italy to teach. So this is my mission and what I like.
Love that. You mentioned there about the coach education, and I was in Jeddah last year at the Next Gen, which João Fonseca won. And for the first time ever, Saudi Arabia Tennis put on a coaching education system, because they want obviously more and more coaches coming out of Saudi Arabia. And there were quite a few Italians there. I'm sure many of your colleagues, many people and that's one of the reasons that I believe that Italian tennis is so impressive right now, both on the ATP and the WTA, that you've put in many, many years of hard work, getting the best coaches that all seem to be very working together, which I love, because I've noticed when I came back to England 7 years ago from being in the United States for 22 years, I noticed how separate all the coaches were. It was kind of, this is my player and don't touch them. Whereas in Italy, you have a really great collaborative idea. Everyone's working with each other, bouncing ideas off. I think that is one of the reasons. Also, your free-to-air tennis channel, I think, is exceptional in Italy. And then, of course, all the futures challenges and ATP tournaments you've got in your country. Is there anything else I'm missing? Why do you think Italian tennis is in such great shape right now?
Yeah, it's a long conversation here. Yeah, one is this coaching. You have to know that Italy has the same president since 2000, so 25 years, and the same people there. And I give credit to them, even if some late for the first half of this, the first 10, 12 years, they believe that everybody, I think LTN at some point, LTA was similar to go National Tennis Center. You know, you have to go there.
Yes.
Because we know better, you know. So you interrupt the empathy. If somebody is growing with one coach, at some point, boom, you have to go.
Yeah, it happened to me when I was younger.
When you force something, is never right. Like about 7-8 years ago, was a U-turn, and I think I when I was coaching Bolelli, I was in the fight with our federation because of that. I say, why you force me to go to the National Tennis Center? I have my place. Everything is fine. This guy went 248, 236 in the world. How can you change something like that?
Yeah.
So finally, slowly, we come to the conclusion that I was right, and now the federation is supporting the private coaches. You know, public and the private, they work together. So how can I need you? You know, they're doing very well. They're incredibly successful organization-wise. Italian Open, ATP finals, Davis Cup finals, everything happening in Italy. So many challengers, so many juniors, so many futures. So this is really go to credit so much to the federation. But this with the private coach, I think, is one of the keys. Now Sonego work with this coach since he's a kid. Sinner grew up with Sartori, then Piatti, and they have the freedom to be with the one they like. You know, they're kids. They have their needs. You know,
Tartarini and Mazzetti.
And then they can get united. Also, Volandri, my friend, the former player, became a co-captain of Davis Cup. I think, no offense for Barasutti, but he was way better. I think it was big improvement to put the Davis Cup, more team spirit. He won the last 2 Davis Cup winning. We had Tatiana Garbin did the same for the girls, for the Billie Jean Cup, win Billie Jean Cup, won. And so we are really united now. United, the public works together with the private, which never happened. This happened since only maybe the most 10 years, but not even 8 years ago happened. And that's what I see that not happening in other countries. You know?
Yeah.
If you want to take an example, that's the one to take. Plus the fitness coach for tennis, thanks to Marco Panicchi, maybe many, they start to imitate him. So every single tennis center, tennis club in Italy, tennis school has a professional figure of fitness coach specific for tennis. This is another reason.
Yes.
Another reason is to make so many challenges. So Italian player didn't spend so much money to make points. So every city in Italy, thanks to the 70s, Mr. Adriano Panatta, no? That's when the tennis became so popular in Italy. Every city has a... Hello, are you there? Yeah.
I'm here. Yes, carry on.
Yes, the city has a tennis club Florence, tennis club Milan, tennis club Rome, tennis club Turin, and they used to have a lot of national tournaments. They turned to be international tournaments in challengers. So all this combination of things make it happen, the incredible success, unexpected, because in the best dreams, you don't dream to dominate the tennis like this. Number 1, number 6, Musetti is still coached by the guy who put the racket in his hand.
Simone Tartarini. What a great man he is.
So the stories, the difference, there are different stories. Sinner, Berrettini, Musetti, Sonego, they're all different. Cobolli. They are nothing to do with one another. There is no system. You know, the system is that there is no system. That the freedom of following the empathy. Empathy is the most important quality for tennis coach. From Greek, in pathos. One is in the motion of the other. So they feel well, because it also can happen that somebody's a great coach, somebody's a great player, but they don't fit. You know, there is no empathy.
Correct.
So you have to look for empathy and feed the empathy and give the tools, especially financial tools, to go on and on for years. And then they have good position to have great players, many great players. That's happening now. Darderi. Yeah.
Yeah, it's just one after another, isn't it? Are
Yeah,
there some
another
young
one,
ones that we haven't heard of yet that you can tell us about?
Yeah, Vezemi is at least as good as Cina. Cina is a great player. Vezemi won the Italian Open Junior easy, and he's from Rome. Is lefty, tall, great guy. Vezemi, you're gonna hear about. He played Italian Open against Cameron Norrie. First set, to give hard time to him. He's 17 years old. Cameron Norrie is a champion. So you see more and more coming.
All right, we'll keep an eye out for him. And finally, we've spoken for about an hour, and I'm so appreciative of your time, Claudio. It's been just an amazing chat. What are you doing next? What's your plan?
Well, you see my shirt, Intense, is an idea. Intense tennis is a new way that we start. I always I never say no. I'm curious. I want to see new things. Intense tennis start this upcoming week. I'm the coach of Jacksonville team. We have 3 teams: Atlanta, Jacksonville, and Tampa. Moratoglu is representing the JTCC team in Jacksonville. Is me, and the Atlanta team. You can see intense.com. So you can see all the information, different rules, very similar to Moratoglu. When you play with one serve, you go by the time, and this winner get 2 points. And this is more a good fit for young, So it's not paddle, it's not pickleball, it's tennis. That's what I like, But it's a bit different, but it's more interesting for young, it's more dynamic, and the goes by time is three men, 3 women. And so there's no let the public can talk. You count the points like a long tie break, and then more 15, 30, it's very complicated counting now. So simplify and faster game. So we go for it. I hope they're going to have a league next year with 12 teams. And I think it doesn't touch a bit. It's not going against the traditional tennis, but it's an addition, and can bring a lot of interest. So now I'm very curious to go all my experience, even though I'm 57, this makes me feel young, because there's a new thing, all the young people involved in that. And so tomorrow we go to Atlanta, and this weekend we have the first match against Tampa.
Okay, it sounds so exciting. Get used to the heat and humidity in Atlanta. This time of year, it is baking. You are an amazing guest. I'm so appreciative again of your time, Claudio. A great player yourself, a fantastic coach, a wonderful storyteller. And I wish you all the best of luck. And I do hope that at some point we can meet face to face.
Of course, it's me thanking you. By the way, Intense Arena is indoor, so it's going to be fine.
There we go. Good idea.
And this conversation makes me so happy. I always learn something when I have to explain things. I believe in the power of storytelling. That's why I wrote my book, and I'm going to write another one. And it was a great pleasure to meet you and to be in your podcast. I hope to see you soon again.
Thanks, Claudio. I'm going to buy your book, and I'd love it if you could sign it for me. So maybe we'll meet at Wimbledon or the US Open.
Absolutely, yeah. I'll be US Open. We have one player playing US Open qualies, and Perfect. If you're there, and by the time it should be out in English language.
All right, great. I'm going to be there all 3 weeks, so I will bring my copy around, and we will meet in New York. My dog says it's ready to say goodbye. So Claudio, good luck in Intense, and keep in touch. Thanks so much.
All the best. Thank you very much. Bye, everyone.
Thank you for watching Diary of a Professional Tennis Coach. Please like, subscribe and share, and we'll be back soon with another great episode.